come to order, please? We ready, Steve? You can hear me when I whisper, can't you? The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual meeting notice was sent to the press, Down Beach Current, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, the municipal website, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. Would you please take a second, turn off electronic equipment? We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Becker.
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg.
We will start off. Dave, do you want to be at the beginning or the end? I know. Well, I was going to ask Paula next.
No, Paul's going to be speaking. Didn't I speak to you about the last one?
I didn't want to say that. Paul, why don't you come on up?
Thank you. May I have permission-
Introduce yourself for the record and to the public, please.
May I have permission to hand these out to everyone?
You
Yes,
may.
you can.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. My name is Paul Maiola. I'm the Executive Director of the Atlantic County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. I want to thank you for allowing me to be present at this afternoon's work session. And I also want to thank you for continuing your membership in the Atlantic County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. And I just want to take a moment to just give you some updates about how we're doing. If you flip your booklet open to page 2, you'll see, I know it's natural for elected officials to ask themselves, am I doing the right thing? Was the JIF a good idea? Is this still a good idea? Why should we remain with the Joint Insurance Fund? And if you turn to page 3, you'll see we've had a very successful run as a Joint Insurance Fund. As a matter of fact, it's one of the most successful examples of shared services in the entire state of New Jersey, if not in Atlantic and Cape May counties. And since its inception, the Joint Insurance Fund movement here in Jersey has saved taxpayers over $1 billion, which is quite impressive. Page 4 just talks about the fact that we've succeeded beyond what we tried to accomplish back in the mid-'80s when we formed the JIF. We were looking just to get insurance coverage, but we've actually made it very affordable. We've produced superior programs, and we have outstanding financial stability and strength. So page 5 just talks about measurement of success, and I think page 6, there is a financial measurement right there. We've got a stable 27-year history. We've got over $46 million of cash on hand. We've returned almost $25 million to our members, which would have been insurance company profits. And we're sitting on a little over $26 million in surplus, which we're gradually giving back to the members by way of dividends. I'll talk about that in a moment. Page 7, the way we do it, it's all a local organization. It's local professionals. We have specialized programs geared to municipalities here in Atlantic and Cape May counties, strong risk management, claims management, and specialized programs that are designed for municipal government, and the same with our coverage. It's not something that goes to a body shop today and a trucking risk tomorrow. Moving along on page 7, there's a high level of accountability, strong budget control, and the most important piece of the Joint Insurance Fund is the member involvement. It's not like buying an insurance policy, putting it in a drawer, and forget about it and pray you don't have claims. Our members are very involved in safety, risk management, loss control, and claims management. Page 8, we talk about the member involvement giving us local control. The members drive the decisions about the Joint Insurance Fund, the peer-to-peer monthly meetings where representatives from the towns come and they share information, talk about things that are coming down from Trenton or the DCA, or sharing examples of loss control and safety programs that they're implementing to prevent employees from getting hurt on the job. So it creates a lot of built-in networking opportunities and creates a great deal of collaboration among local municipalities. The most important feature of the Joint Insurance Fund at the bottom of page 8, I think, is the fact that all the members of the Joint Insurance Fund are committed to safety and risk management. You're in a program where if a member is not committed and dedicated to preventing losses, they're going to be put on an intervention program. So we want to make sure that you don't have to pay the claims for somebody else. Page 9 just shows about who your members are and who you're sharing risk with and who's practicing loss control with you. And then page 10 talks about managing your risk. And that's something that you just can't delegate to an outside party. It's not something that an insurance company can do for you, but it's got to start from within. Page 11, I talked about that. It starts here with mayor and council, moves on to your administration, your management, and down to your staff. I always say if mayor and council don't feel that it's important to practice safety, it's not going to filter down to the employees either, and it's not going to be important. Page 12 talks about your risk management team. Dan Adams does a great job as your safety coordinator. He's also your claims coordinator to make sure that when somebody gets hurt on the job or a lawsuit comes in, it immediately gets submitted so that we can act on it right away. And Lisa McLaughlin does a very able job in representing and looking out for the interests of Margate on the JIF Executive Committee. So how's Margate doing? Well, you've had a very good track record on page 13. You're doing a great job of managing your claims, and you'll see on page 14 you're rewarded for that. Since your last renewal, your assessment has decreased by over 8%, so there's quite a bit of savings, about $70,000 in savings since your last renewal, and you're still not paying much more than you paid back in 2003, that red bar there of $747,000. So over 20 years, over 10, 12 years, you've kept a pretty stable lid on your insurance premiums. Page 15 talks about the fact that we do return dividends. Every penny that we don't spend on claims gets returned to the members. You've collected over $51,000 in dividends, and last year you collected $9,000, and we're looking to return at least that much, probably more in the coming year. Page 16, what makes us cost effective is the fact that we are a public agency, we're a nonprofit organization, so we don't drive for profits. There's no tax loadings on the JIF because we are a public agency. We don't bail out the assigned risk, so there's no residual market cost. We have a low overhead, about 11 cents on the dollar to operate the JIF. We work hard to keep medical inflation under control on our workers' comp claims, strong litigation management, and most importantly, great buy-in from the members for the safety, claims, and risk management programs. Page 17, we don't rest on our laurels. We're constantly pushing the envelope. Last year we introduced cyber liability. We'll be introducing some training for your employees to avoid that risk of cyber attack. And this year we introduced a wellness program. We recognize that healthy employees are less likely to get injured on the job and will recover more quickly. So page 18 just announces the fact that, yeah, there's other joint insurance funds in the state. They don't have the member programs that we have. They take members from all over the state, most of them from up in North Jersey, Essex County, Morris County, and so on. They have very little in common with our members. There's very little oversight by the members themselves over the stewardship of taxpayers' money. The professionals are all up in North Jersey. The membership meetings are held there. Very few training opportunities, and the financial stability is very questionable. As a matter of fact, you'll see on page 19, rather than pay dividends to their members, they've never paid dividends, but they do come back and say, geez, we didn't charge you enough, we need more money to pay our claims. Page 20, just the bottom line. Who are you sharing risk with? Who's going to defend your claims? Who do you call for help? Who's going to be around 10 years from now? And who's minding the store? Those are all important questions to be asking. We like to think that we have answered those questions to your satisfaction. And remember, nobody asks about the cost of insurance after a claim has been filed. It doesn't matter who insures you until it does. So, in conclusion, on page 21, only you can answer that question. Was it a good idea to get involved with the JIF? Is it still a good idea? Why remain with the JIF? I want to thank you very much for your support, your continued membership, and I pledge to you that we're going to continue to work hard to make us the best and the most competitive program out there. I'd be happy to answer questions at this time.
Does
Mayor.
anyone have any questions for Mr. Mayola? Paul, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for your time.
Very well. Thank you. David, do you want anything? Okay. Thank you, guys. Ed?
Thank you. Okay. There's really only two projects that are working right now. One is the repurposing of Washington Avenue. The other is the Union Avenue School. The boiler is phase 1 and 2. Washington Avenue, they have demolished the old Historical Society / Building Code office. They've demoed the entire inside of the first floor. They have the fill approximately 95% complete, compacted. They did nuclear density testing, and currently we're working on 2 or 3 items that need to be clarified, one being the sanitary sewer line, and the other is a piece of steel over a wall that used to be part of the clerk's office. Calvi Electric has pretty much ripped everything out electrically, and Wilkinson has done the rest. They're moving along. We have done some revisions to the electrical pole layout with Atlantic Electric and Verizon, and I believe that'll result in a net reduction to the contract. Other than that, they're moving along at a decent pace out there. As far as this building, Falaska has both Phase 1 and 2 contracts. They are finishing up Phase 1, which was actually started last year, but we shut down as soon as the heating season was here. That included the chimney, the flue liner, and essentially taking down the entire brick chimney on the exterior of the building and taking it down to the flashings and rebuilding it. And they are still projected to be completed operational heat by October 1st. So we're working with them, and they're doing a good job. The gas company is still out there doing connections to services to different residents. They're picking them off one by one. There's still a few they haven't gotten done, and a few they're doing some abandonment of the lines. I am meeting with the gas company on next Thursday, and we're essentially going to ride all the streets that were in Phase 0 through 6 to determine what the final paving restoration will be on those roads. So I will have that report prepared subsequent to that meeting, so we know exactly what we're getting from them. And I would invite anyone who wants to take that ride with me to come along. We have several projects that are either pending award or have been awarded, but construction will not start until after the season. We've had the municipal building, the emergency generators for the Union Avenue Municipal Building. There was a pre-construction conference, I believe it was July 28th, and the contractor currently, we're reviewing his submittals. As soon as submittals are approved, they'll order the materials and get started. Well number 9, the Decatur Avenue vehicle ramp, the Ventnor Avenue Parkway, island irrigation system, they will take place as soon as the season is over, just to minimize inconvenience to the residents. I believe, is the streetscape on the agenda for award?
You can do that now.
Yes, okay. The Ventnor Avenue streetscape is a project that we've been looking at for a couple of years. We had started design on, we funded a portion of it, we started design on some of it. Subsequent to that, a grant was applied for 4 of the 5 block segments. It was approved. It prevented us from going to bid sooner, but now that piece of it came in at $305,000. And 600 is 305, 670, which was the base bid. That is being funded totally by the grant that we have. The grant, we only had one bidder. The bidder was Marandino. They previously did the streetscape in the area of Castles and Dino's, that whole area there. So we know their work was fine. The bids came in about 17% higher than our estimate for those blocks. I asked my staff to look at that. We sent a reply to Jim Rotella, who then forwarded to the state, and the majority of the items were material cost for lighting, benches, or street signs rather, trash cans, and then some of the concrete, some of the flat work was higher than our estimate. We've seen flat work go all over the place lately. Concrete from $22 to $48 a square yard. So The fact that the estimate was prepared almost 3 years ago, as well, and based on prices that we had previously bid, accounts for the difference in the difference between our original estimate and the actual bids. Everything is within the realm of reality. They're honest bids. They're not exorbitant. So that's why we recommended awarding the contract to Marandino.
Ed, now alternate A is the portion that we have to pay for out of our own funds, although all of it we have to pay for and they get reimbursed, but ultimately that'll be our responsibility entirely, is that correct?
Correct,
So that's
yes.
the difference between the 396 and the 306 roughly.
It's 305,670, and the alternate bid was $91,285. So that was for the block that did not meet the requirements of DCA for their grant.
Yeah, and part of the reason why it didn't meet the requirements, that has to do with CD funds, which include low and moderate income in the neighborhood, and if it doesn't qualify in the particular neighborhood or the particular block, census
Exactly.
block, then it doesn't qualify.
Exactly.
But we were able to find blocks that did qualify and they overlapped, which really saves us $300,000 when we get done here.
Absolutely, yes.
The reason why I wanted you to talk about it at this meeting are a couple of reasons. One is, it was higher than your estimate.
Yes.
Two is, we only had one bidder.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's hard to believe in this day and age we could only get one bidder for a job that's $390,000. So I'd like you to address that publicly. And
Surely.
part of the reason why I'm asking you to do that is not only for the commissioners, but we've had 6 weeks of back and forth with the state to be able to justify this bid because of the 17% and because of the fact we only had one bidder. And they're paying for it, and they have since approved it.
Yes.
Based on the fact that we went through the analysis that we normally would do, and we had to certify that that's what we would do normally, is go before the commissioners and explain what the differences are between your estimate and the bid if we only have one bid.
Right. And
So
And
if you would
it's-
just address the fact that we only had one bid publicly, I would appreciate it.
it's interesting that we only had one bidder. If you remember, when the first time we bid the generator, we only had one bidder, and the response I received from the electrical contractor were the other bidders that I thought were going to bid were that they were too busy. So while this area appears to be slow for construction, contractors are busy. I don't know if they've moved their focus of work to different areas, but this is what we're running across, that we're finding contractors are telling us more than we would like, that they're too busy to bid a project.
I think it's something we have to work on, though, as an organization, because if we have to beat the bushes harder to get people and get them to pre-commit to bid, have a pre-construction meetings, whatever we have to have, I think the idea of bringing one bid here is ultimately going to catch up with us. And not that there's anything wrong with this, because we've been through a pretty exhaustive process with the state, but I just think we need to look at our own practices then, under the circumstances of what we're facing in the economy.
But just saying that the project was bid in the press, but it was also in the Dodge Report, which is a substantial publication. So, but you're right. We have to. We're trying to make whatever effort we can to make bidders aware of the bid without making direct contact with them. So.
Anything else? Anything else? Do you have anything else, Ed?
The only other thing is we do have we're in the process of design of the, one of the beach access, the handicap access, of which we will go to bid, and that construction would also be in the fall.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay?
Frank?
Mayor, before you move, I didn't
Hold on,
have you on
Frank.
that item, but I have one other question for Ed,
Sure.
separate item. We have some tanks in the ground that
Oh, yes.
we talked
Okay,
about. Would
yeah.
you address that, where we are with that?
I received an email from my LSRP. LSRP is a licensed site remediation professional. Okay? What the state has done in the last few years is essentially wash their hands of the responsibility for underground tanks, for site remediation, and has passed, there's legislation actually that has moved that responsibility to LSRPs. If an LSRP signs and says that the site is clear, then they accept that as binding. What we're finding as a result of these bills that we're getting for tanks, and they have blended the municipal complex as well as the bayfront areas where essentially Washington Avenue Park, where there were 2 marinas and there were tanks, which we removed. They are claiming they have no proof that the tanks were removed, even though we sent them at the time of construction the notification that we removed the tanks. We sent them invoices from the contractor. Recently, we resubmitted all that documentation to them. So what they're essentially saying is that we have like 6 more tanks than we really do. My LSRP, just like I said, he just got the documentation from the state. We're preparing, we're pulling all our old files from when we removed the tanks at the Public Works Department and put the new ones in, when we removed the tanks at Washington Avenue. So we're putting all that package together so the LSRP can now submit it so that we can get this resolved. But essentially, they claim they have no record of any of this, which, is beyond me, but that's what it is.
I think it's important we speak about this publicly, even though it's maybe boring to some people, because it's thousands of dollars we're talking here, and what the state's position is, the state is just sending out these bills to everybody and making you do all the research and prove that you sent all the papers to them years ago that they've lost. And in the meantime, they're billing us for thousands and thousands of dollars and then trying to charge you interest for not paying the dollars. We had the same problem with elevators, and now we're having it with underground storage tanks. And it puts a tremendous burden on the local governments, and it's costly to go recreate all this. I mean, Ed isn't doing this because he wants to, or because for nothing either. So it's costly to us, and I just want to bring it to the attention of the commissioners, and
everyone
as you're
should
talking
know.
to the freeholders and to the assemblymen and all the people you talk to, that not that you're going to make a lot of progress, but this is another burden that's put on local governments.
That everyone should know that before we did any of the work, we had to get state permits, so they had to be aware of it. But whatever, we're in the process. We will get it resolved. It's just it's a drill that we have to go through.
Thank you, Ed. Rich, thank you. Frank?
The Public Works Department of Margate City is hosting Clean Communities seminars at the Bloom Pavilion. It's a 3-day seminar. Today was the first day. It's every Thursday for the next 2 weeks. And it's a recertification course for Clean Communities coordinators. The credits are being given to recycling coordinators, public works managers, and Clean Communities coordinators. And it's an all-day seminar, and it's going to be followed up on September 19th in Margate with a beach cleanup, and it's an international beach cleanup, which means every country in the world is going to be involved in cleaning their beaches on that day. They're going to have a sand sculpture down there. They're going to hand out awards. People are going to graduate as a certified Clean Communities director. On the other hand,
would you, offline, would you speak to Ed Berger about this?
Sure.
It's something he was interested in. So.
Sure. The Atlantic County Department of Human Services sent us our rating on our ocean water quality. Margate is excellent, also with Brigantine, Longport, and Ventnor. Atlantic City got a good rating. Our beaches are in great shape. We're still doing the double pickups on the weekends, on the beach and on the street. And we've been doing research on the trash we pick up on the beach, which we have been doing a trash audit. And if we are able to prove to the Atlantic County Utilities Authority that we have almost 90% of recycled material in our trash, then it will be considered recyclable. So we are going to go that route. We're going to separate our dumpsters, have a 40-yard dumpster for nothing but the debris we bring off the beach, meaning only what goes into the containers. It can't be grass or wood that washes up or anything. But we are looking to see a big savings in our tipping fees. On the utility work, we've had quite a few dig-ups around town. We had a couple water leaks we fixed, 3 sewer lines we replaced, and 3 storm lines we had to repair in the past 2 weeks. That's all I have.
Thank you. Good job, as usual, Frank. Tony?
Mayor, Commissioners, everything's going well at the fire department. I don't have anything to report, but on the beach patrol side, just a reminder that the 2 races scheduled in Margate are the Margate Memorials, Friday, August 7th at 6:30 on Washington Avenue Beach, and the South Jersey races on the same beach on Friday, August 14th. Now, I spoke with Chief Smallwood today because we may have a weather problem for tomorrow, and he's not going to make that call until tomorrow, but when he does, we're going to put it out to everybody so everybody's alerted and they'll know when the rescheduled time will be. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Lisa?
I don't have anything to report today. Thank you.
That's a record setter. Chief Wilson?
As you're aware, we were in the process of putting together an RFP for a consulting on the Atlantic Avenue, the proposed Atlantic Avenue striping project. Miraculously, I attended a meeting last week with Jim Rattal, our grants coordinator. We are participating in a grant with Ventnor, and which Jim was able to obtain with the state DOT on bicyclist safety. And they are actually going to do the study for us of Atlantic Avenue, as additionally the entire city. So I'm very thankful for that. We can save some money and hopefully get it done sooner than later. Everything else is good.
Thank you, Chief. Rich?
I just have 2 items. Mayor and Commissioners, there's a request we're going to have for you to add to the bill list at the 5 o'clock meeting. And I think you know about it, but I want to say it publicly and get your approval. $17,736.44. It's a reduced amount that was negotiated through Atlantic City, with Atlantic City Electric, with the help of the commissioners, and that is for work that has to be done at the old City Hall for moving poles. But it will also be offset partially by change orders that ultimately will come about with our general contractor because of some realignment of the way we're going to do our electrical system. I think Lisa can verify publicly that there's a certification of funds so that you could add it to your agenda. And Commissioner Amadeo may have something additional to say about this if he wishes. But if we're ready to do this, if you'll approve putting it on the agenda.
Could you pass that?
Anything else, Rich?
Are you okay?
Yep.
You want to say something? Okay, I have something else. I thought you had a comment. No. The only other item I have, Mayor, is I'm in possession of an audit from the auditor for the library, and if anybody would like to see a copy of that, I'll make it available, and also make it available to get it on our webpage, even though it's for the library and not for the city itself. But everything looks good from the audit as I read it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Scott?
Mayor, there's not really much for me to report that I can report publicly, some of the litigation and whatnot, but I will say I wanted to comment on a couple of the items we brought up. I know Ed's team is working on that tank removal. You saw some of my correspondence where the state was charging us for these tanks, which we had pulled years ago. I have seen this in my private practice as well. The state's agencies are hungry for money, and they're coming up with all different reasons as to why they can do it. Sounds to me like we're on the path to resolving this so we can stop paying them, and thanks for your efforts. I'd also like to comment, as you know, I'm an avid beach goer, and I think our beaches are probably one of the cleanest. And did I see we've got some kind of award where we're one of the best beaches as well? Well, you know what? Congratulations. And we are one of the best beaches. Our guys, I see them down there early in the morning. They do a tremendous job cleaning up. And I wanted to thank police department. I've had at least 10 people tell me what a wonderful job your police, when we had some complaints, John, as you jumped right on that, about noise at night for some of our local bars. And your police department has come out, you put your guys out there, I guess, late at night, and they really did a fine job. And also, the light speeding, I catch myself slowing down on Amherst Avenue. I think that's very effective, Chief. Tell your guys, as a citizen as well as a city solicitor, I'm very appreciative. And I think it's really a good thing. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Johanna?
I have nothing to report.
Roger?
I have nothing to report.
Jim?
I have nothing to report.
Fred?
Come on, Fred. I actually have something to report.
Fred, which one of these turns off your microphone?
Since I was busy a little earlier, I didn't hear what had come up with the boilers and the heating system here. So I know that the company that we used to do the chimney and all that work, they did an incredible job. For what they had to do, the way they cleaned up and the way they tried to keep the noise down and the way they worked outside, they did a really good job for us. But I didn't hear where we would be with the boilers.
They're assuming it will be done by October 1st.
October 1st, they'll be, okay, so.
We need heat on October 12th.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So we will continue to, I guess, badger you as the weeks pass, right? Okay. Okay. Also, CM3 has been very responsive since we've gotten them involved with the air conditioning in here, and you know, it's never going to be perfect, obviously, in the building we're in, but just so everyone knows, they've been very responsive. They're doing, you know, an absolute best job they could do with the system that we have, and I think the complaints have either come down or everybody just got tired of complaining and stopped saying something about it. But I guess Tuesday morning, I'll be meeting with Robin over at 1 South, right, along with Frank, and I asked Jimmy to be there to discuss the underground work that's going to have to be done. So that's going to be real important, at least from my standpoint, to get everything in there. So that'll be Tuesday morning we meet. Other than that, you know, everything's great. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
John, do you have anything?
Yes, Mayor, I have a few things. Fred, I don't pass too many compliments, but as facilities director, you're doing a great job. Yes. And as we've gone along for the general public, we've had orientations every other meeting. Last Thursday, we met at the fire department with some residents and the commissioners and Commissioner Dede, business Administrator Didi. And what I find at all the orientations, that you learn something new. And I want to compliment our Fire Chief Tony Tabasso and Deputy Chief Dan Adams for the job they do there and the presentation they put on. As you go through all these, the police, the fire, we've done public works, the knowledge that we're receiving from, and the information we're receiving from these orientations, it's just, I wish we could do it on a regular basis, because the citizens of the city of Margate should really see the nuts and bolts behind all our, not only our public safety, but our public works department, our water department, the services they deliver. So again, I don't give many compliments, Chief. You did a great job the other day, and I appreciate it. Again, another compliment to Fred Verna and our Chief Wolfson, that through Fred's expertise, we were able to get our speed monitoring signs back up working. And I received several, complaints from neighbors about speeding in the neighborhoods. And what amazed me the most of the reports that came out of the computers from the speed monitoring devices is the volume of traffic that we see here in Margate. It's amazing. Little old Margate, the volume on Amherst Avenue, 8,000 cars. That's in a week, like 3-day period?
It's
over a weekend.
It's like a 5-day period.
5-day period, 8,900 cars on Amherst Avenue. And I think it's been a great deterrent for a lot of people that they slow down, they hit the brakes. I've watched it, and I think it's a good addition to our streets during our busy season. So I want to thank the Chief and Fred for all that. I want to compliment our beach patrol as a beach goer, and I know a lot of us do go to the beach, early in the morning when they set up, I'm watching the training programs that Chief Smallwood and all the lieutenants are doing with all the young guards, and the constant training and the layouts on busy days just shows how alive and well and how good our beach patrol's doing. So I want to compliment them on that. Along with our competitors, we won first place in the doubles row and brought home the championship trophy to the city of Margate last Friday night for the Dutch Hoffman Memorials, which is the first of the big 3 races. Tony mentioned the memorials are tomorrow night if they go on schedule, but that's according to weather. And next Friday, the 14th, are the jerseys. That's the Triple Crown of lifeguard, South Jersey Lifeguard Championships. Our team, our competitors, have brought back the first of those 3 championships to us. But 2 other prior trophies before that, our doubles crew have gotten first place in every race they've been in this year, and our singles and our swimmers have done well too. So I want to compliment our competitors. We're very proud of them. So, and lastly, and I'm very excited about it, Chief Wolfson, once again, has done a lot of work to bring the Philadelphia Police Department on August 29th, which is a Saturday. They're going to bring what they call command techniques to Decatur Avenue in Atlantic, and I think it goes from like Decatur to Cedar Grove, am I right, Chief? And the Highway Patrol, Motorcycle Patrol will put on a demonstration of their techniques and their abilities and how they, it's an interesting show because I've seen it in the past. It came one other time, right? About 4 years ago?
This will actually be our 3rd time.
This is the first time?
3rd time.
3rd time. So I've seen it at least once of the other times it was here. So I'm inviting all our residents to be in attendance. It'll be a great day. That's Saturday, August 29th. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you very much, John. I'd just like to reiterate a comment about the state. Not the most efficient organization in the world. In the past week, I've just sent to the state for the 3rd time the notification that the school that we're sitting in belongs to the city and not the Board of Education. And I would pretty much bet that in another month I will get another request to send the same thing. So one of those things. In stark contrast to the way Margate is run, as you can hear from all the comments, this is a really great place to be, guys. I love living here. I'm very proud of what we all have. At this point, I will open up the public comment. You have 3 minutes to speak on any of the topics that were discussed here.
Sewell, 22 West Drive. Our esteemed solicitor seems to be getting too much like the mayor and not reading the newspapers more carefully. But beaches on this island have been closed. Now, granted, they weren't in Margate, but they were in Atlantic City, where beaches were closed this last couple weeks. But also, there was another very interesting article, insofar as saying that canine fecal matter, when mixed with sand, lingers for an inordinate period of time, creating continued contamination. And as our commissioners may be well aware, E. coli 0157 is deadly, particularly to tender-aged children. So I strongly urge that the no dogs on the beach be strictly enforced 24/7, 365. Furthermore, Mr. Didi had his bluff called concerning the canine census, which is mandated by state statute, commissioners, mandated. And unfortunately...
John, I don't remember we were talking about a canine census during the work session.
We were talking, well, we're going to...
Please remind me.
Oh, yes, I'll make the connection, because the willingness of the chief was contingent upon receiving the revenue, which I am all for, from the canine census. It's a wonderful off-season activity. And with that money, the chief could actually purchase what they have in Ocean City, a decibel meter, Mayor, a decibel meter. And that way, his men can be aware when there's excess decibels emitting from a bar or tavern or Maynard's. And I strongly advise that we invest in a couple of these decibel meters, ASAP. And we can use the revenue, Mayor, from the canine census to pay for those decibel meters.
How much revenue would that be, John, from a canine census?
It's tens of thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. The one quote from a very small town was over $35,000 in revenue raised. And we could raise that much in Margate or more. In fact, the chief might be able to get another super trooper. Jimmy Binns is looking for a spot. I would waive the age thing. I think he's young at heart. But
15 seconds.
Oh, Mayor, this 15 seconds has to be used most judiciously. Most judiciously.
10 seconds.
I'll tell you, Mayor, you're rushing me. My thoughts are not...
That's my point, John.
We're only going to bring it up at the next session, Mayor. The next session. But let us briefly touch on it. Let us remember the GIF characters who were here, and that they urged early intervention. And we blew over $600,000 on a whistleblower case. We spent nearly $250,000 for that paper tiger counsel that you retained, that folded like a wet paper bag and left us on the hook for $600,000. It's not funny, but if you pass, Mayor, if you pass our ban, wait, one thought, let me finish the sentence, Mayor. But if you pass the ban on pay-to-play, including services in kind, we won't have to put out another $600,000. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, John. Is there any other public comment? You're in the next one, not now. Next meeting.
Steve Warner, 103 North Sumner Avenue. I'd just like to pass on some comments I heard from some business people in Ventnor, at how much cleaner they think the streets are in Margate, how much cleaner they think the beach is, and I guess some people are doing some good job. I'll just say that. And it shows, it really does. The city looks great. And, it's safe too, I've said that too. It's a really clean, safe city, and we're all really lucky to be here. And I really believe that. And I just wanted to make one comment, and I said it before, but I think next year possibly, with the lifeguards, for Saturday and Sunday and holidays, if you could extend their hours to 7 o'clock, I think it might be a good idea, because there's a heck of a lot of people still on the beach at 6, at 7 even, and it might be a good thing. Thank you.
Joe Tosi, 7 South Granville. I just listened to Steve, and I disagree with him. First of all, I want to say that, with the background, I used to be in the beautification board for over 10 years, and my job was to see things like trees uplifting the sidewalk and writing them down, and then bringing it to the board and making recommendations. Now, anyone can go to my property. There's no grass growing out of the sidewalk. There's no trash in the streets, because I pick it up all the time. Now, up until 2 days ago, Castles, all right, for the whole month of July and up to 3 days into August, the bushes that were growing around his property were unbelievable. The front of his building was disgusting, and he just mowed everything down as of 3 days ago, okay? And let me also bring this to your attention. He never put up a dime to put anything in there. The pavers, the city put in. The trees, the lights, they put in. Put everything myself, and George Saganis across the street put everything in himself, and across the street is magnificent. Now, I want to go one step further. Now, if you go down to the liquor store, right, there's 12 feet of curb that's missing. In fact, 2 pieces broke off last Saturday, and they put it into his gardening, all right? And added at your 12 feet, there's 2 bushes growing at least 2 feet high. Now, let's go to the end of his property. Now, the bus stop, okay, the bus stop. Now, they have that sculpture piece going around there, and they have all these brown stones in there. Every time you get a heavy rain, it comes down the drain pipe, washes the stones into the sidewalk. There's a mess on the sidewalk, on the driveway, and in the gutter, and it's still there. You can go down and look for yourselves, okay? Now, let's go to the bus stop itself. There's like 400 cigarette butts. Now, you lease it to them, I believe, and nobody puts any pressure on it. I mean, I think my part of town is Center City. We get thousands and thousands of people on the weekend, okay? Now, I want to go one more step. This is for you, Mr. Mayor. I go down Douglas Avenue from Ventnor to Atlantic, and then the back of your building, I believe you put up a buffer of trees to block that look of just a big wall. There's 28 trees I count. 19 are completely dead, right? Now, I see no pride in you doing what you're doing. Now, Tom Collins is on the board of planning board and zoning board, I believe, and he's passing properties, passing trees and stuff, and he's not taking care of his own property. That's shameful, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't see where this city is so beautiful as you clean, you know what I'm saying? And if you go any place in this town, and if you just walk anywhere, you'll see cars broken every which way, and I brought this up at another meeting. Nobody is pushing anybody to get anything straightened out where our city looks beautiful. I'm ashamed of what I see.
15 seconds, Shell.
Excuse me?
15 seconds.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm pretty much done, you know.
Okay.
I really feel that, you know, you being a mayor, you should make an example, and you're the manager, example of your property.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
I see something.
People in the front row, what are they here for? The lights. Anyone else? This one.
Richard Miskowski, 9,000 Winchester Avenue. If you recall, when City Hall just moved here, I was a person who really was against City Hall being here because it's a neighborhood surrounded by houses. And of course, since then, I've sort of changed my mind. I'm going to commend the Streets Department for taking care of this building. It's better than it's ever been by the school board. The only thing missing were some of the trees around the building, and of course, it's close, and they were all removed. The blocks that used to hold the trees on the side there, they are now taken care of by the Streets Department. In fact, I was talking to Pat, who takes care of all that stuff, and he's doing a tremendous job with all the flowers along Ventnor Avenue, and he takes more care of them than a normal person would. Same way with the complaints we always had about the flag, and I thank Gregory for always making sure that that flag is tight and not keeping us awake at night. There's still some questions about it. The building right across the street there has been for sale for a few years. A person approached me about the sale of it, and they want to raise it and put up a home or so, but the fact that it's across from City Hall, they have doubts. So it's still a detriment to the community, the houses all around it. However, I think most people accept it's livable, and well, I think most people welcome the City Hall here. I think the city's been doing a great job with the cleanliness. The playground on Benson Avenue, it's the best I've ever seen in 40 years. It's well taken care of, all new bushes, it's really attractive, and I've noticed a lot of people taking their little kids there. So I think it's a wonderful thing that the city is so clean and kept so neatly. So I really don't have any complaints. I just want you to keep in mind, if you're going to utilize any extra space in the building, that you keep in mind that it's still a residential area. We have homes all around City Hall here, and that nothing that would come into the building would be adverse to the people who live around it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dick. And Dick, I want to thank you for being a good neighbor to the school. Not only you, but every house in this whole block, all around the school, has been very supportive. Thank you, Dick.
Mike Goldenberg, 7 North Haverford. Guys.
Mr. Goldberg, is this about?
It's some additional things my daughter would like to also address, Mr. Abbott.
Okay. And you'll have your chance in like 5 minutes. I told you at the beginning of the second meeting. This meeting is limited in topics that were discussed.
No problem.
That's okay. Okay.
Stephen Altman, 9003 Amherst Avenue, Margate. It's a privilege to speak in the shadow of Mr. Amadeo. A number of the comments that he made about Amherst Avenue and police department speed devices, they clocked me today at 4 miles an hour walking. It was exciting. But in all seriousness, having attended all of the orientation meetings, I concur with Mr. Amadeo's analysis. Margate is a remarkable city with remarkable employees and a lot of depth in each one of the departments that we've heard from so far. It's been very exciting to find out the quality of people. You don't get to do that as a citizen, even if you grow up here. You see the department heads, and they're very impressive. But when you see the staff that's under them, it's equally impressive. And I just wanted to accentuate Mr. Amadeo's comments. This is something that somehow should be video recorded in the future, perhaps put on the website so that citizens can see exactly the kinds of orientation meetings that I've been privileged to attend. I thank you all.
Thank you, Steve. Any other public comment? Is there a motion to close public comment? Oh.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make the motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
We will take a 5-minute break, and thank you very much.